So in this video, we're going to look at the Bitcoin chart, and hopefully we'll be able to determine whether we are in a bear market or whether we're just going through a very steep correction. Keep watching to the end to see what my opinion is on what the situation of the market is. Are we still in a bull market, or has it switched over to being a bear market? Let's get right into it.
Somewhere in here I know, but I forgot.
It's a bad one. Yeah.
Thought it had something to do with more people like pulling out their money than investing it.
A bear market is when most of the stocks are turning down. Everybody's buying.
A bear market is a situation where the total value of the market is falling. So in other words, it's an environment that encourages selling. Many times when a bear market occurs, investors will be very pessimistic about the potential of future assets, and they may begin selling out of fear. Now, the state of Bitcoin generally determines the whole state of the crypto market. So let's start by looking at the Bitcoin charts. Starting our technical analysis on the weekly time frame, it's very important to observe what's going on here. If you look at these two moving averages, we've got the yellow 20-day and the red 55-day moving average. We do have here, right here, you can see where this golden cross occurred. And ever since, we've had price action pretty much staying above the 55-day moving average. Now, we do have situations like this was the summer of 2021. Between the months of May and July, we had this Bitcoin dip below the 20-day moving average. That was a bit scary. We see that between these months, price action dipped below the 20-day and all in all managed to stay above the 55-day moving average. Our buyers showed up again, and there we have this nice upward movement. And that's been the situation up until here, where Bitcoin, in an unprecedented move, attempted to hit $70,000. Ever since, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, we've had price action dumping. Interesting thing to note is Bitcoin still has some way to go to come down to this moving average. And you can see how this 55 EMA almost coincides with the 38.20 Fibonacci level. This indicates a pretty strong level. I would begin to get concerned if Bitcoin closes below this 38.2 fib level. So we're looking at $42,000, about $42,500. If you're bullish on Bitcoin, you want Bitcoin staying above the $42,500 mark. Earlier this year, we see with this huge red ugly candlestick, the close was below this 38.2 fib. And what happened thereafter was inevitable, as in price action dumping below it. So it's that close we want to guard against. Okay, so this is 24 hours later, and there's not that much change on looking at the Bitcoin weekly chart. Now, when we look at the heat map of the top ranking cryptocurrency coins by market cap, we see that Bitcoin has just about increased by about 1%, but it is a move in the right direction. So Bitcoin did hit an all-time high of about $69,000. And so that is our grand resistance. Okay, so Bitcoin did hit this resistance, and what you do expect when an all-time high has been made is you do expect that retracement. Now, I wouldn't be too concerned about this retracement until it enters this golden zone. So the golden zone is the area between the 38.20 and the 61.80 Fibonacci levels. Entering into the zone is not too much of a problem, but we usually don't want a retracement going below the 50% Fibonacci line. So this again is our line in the sand, this 50% line. Accumulation is going on in between these two levels. So that's the 20-day and the 55-day moving average. And these levels equally are important. If we break above the 20-day, then that's going to be great for the bulls. And if we break below the 55-day, that's going to be great for the bears. But we want to be super conscious of this. Looks like this M going on here. So it only becomes a reversal pattern if it breaks below the neck of the M. And the neck of the M is right here. Right where we have this white line is the point, is what I would say is the point of no return as far as Bitcoin regaining its upward trend. So $28,300. We do not want the price dipping below 28K. So that's a double negative, and it's goodbye bulls and hello bears from there on. So if I cut out a section, if I cut out this section here, and we see what's going on. Okay, we cut out this section here, and we do the same right about here. Do you see any similarities? So here we have the nice bull run. We hit the point of resistance. We hang about the point of resistance. We cannot break through. And then we have that dump. We come, and now we're stuck in between the two moving averages. Well, this is exactly what's going on at this point again. Run up to all-time high, hang around resistance, can't break through, dump. And again, we're oscillating between the two moving averages, and this is a very healthy signal. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, but looking at the charts, everything is playing out as it should. We're in an accumulation phase, and that's okay. If the smart money, the whales, the institutions are accumulating Bitcoin about now, and it's in my interest to begin to accumulate as much Bitcoin as I can. Since you all know, you buy low and you sell high. So the first level of support we do not want to lose is we do not want to lose the 55 EMA, neither do we want to lose the 38.2% fib. So we're looking at $42,433. We want to stay north of this number. The second level we want to keep our eye on, so we want to stay above this level, is $39,327. And you can see, looking at this section here and here, these were previous areas of resistance but now turned support. So we want to stay above this area of support. So it's important we stay north of this level right here. That's our second level we want to keep our eye on. Next comes the all-important neckline of this double top pattern formation. Now the double top has not completed its formation, but if it does get down to the neckline right about here, then that's a definite sign that the price of Bitcoin is heading south. Heading south, yes, but we still have our 61.8% Fibonacci level. Now this is a pretty strong level. The 61.8% Fibonacci level represents the last line in the sand for this, our golden zone. So that's why I have it shaded yellow, because it's the all-important zone. If price dips below the golden zone, then it can continue to dip. If there's a breakout above the golden zone, then that's always a great sign for the bulls. And so I would call this level our very last line in the sand. Also, let's not forget our 50% Fibonacci level, so 35,305. We're going to add that to the mix of our lines of support. Okay, so on the downside, these are the numbers we're looking at: 42K, 39K, 35K, 31, and 28. 28 is the last hope for Bitcoin, and 28K, that's about the last hope for Bitcoin. If we're planning to see those predictions that have been flying around, we've had predictions of 100,000, 200,000, then it's important that Bitcoin does not drop to below $28,176. So now you may ask, what is the prognosis for Bitcoin over the next couple of weeks? We only have about 2.5 weeks to the end of 2021. Can Bitcoin still break above the all-time high of $69,000? Well, let's look at our Fibonacci extension tool, which helps us to forecast and see what could be in store for us with Bitcoin's price action. So first, I'm going to call on the Fibonacci extension tool, and I'm going to start drawing it from the last impulsive move. So that last move is actually from here. So it started here. We'll go to the all-time high of 69K, and we could take it to the top of the wick. I'll take it to the top of the wick in this instance and pull it back within the context of this last impulsive move. Okay, so I've zoomed out a bit so we can see a little bit of what's going on, because again, we're looking into the projected price over the space of time. It's clear here, right here, we have the all-time high. And when we look at the projected Fibonacci levels, it's very interesting to see that the all-time high broke above the 61.8 but could not sustain it. So again, remember, the 61.8 is a very strong Fibonacci level. As indicated here, Bitcoin did attempt to break past it, but it could not sustain it. Hence the retracement that we're in. Okay, now let's look at the all-time high. Our current all-time high is 69K. The previous all-time high broke above the 50% Fibonacci level, but could not sustain it. So there was our clear line in the sand, our clear area of resistance. We had a nice retracement. We had an accumulation phase going on around here. And then we have our reversal candlestick, and we begin that upward trek once again. The upward trek ultimately takes us all the way back up beyond the previous all-time high. So we've gone beyond the previous all-time high by one level. So previous all-time high stopped at 50%. This all-time high was actually able to burst through the 61.8, but it could not sustain it. And hence we're in the retracement that we see right now. So I call it a retracement because we still have not broken below the 55-day. Neither do we have a death cross. That always leaves room for our bounce. Okay, with our previous all-time high, if we look at how far we retraced a whopping 54%. But with the power of that deep retracement, we were able to break past the previous high that was set there. So the same is going on here. If we look at by how much we have retraced this time around, we've only retraced 33%. So we're not doing too badly compared to how far we retraced the last time. And that's why I say we still have a little more wiggle room for Bitcoin to dip a little bit more. And that wiggle room, we've already gone over what that is. Now, the bigger the retracement, then the more powerful is the move that Bitcoin can now attain. So literally, there's no pain without gain. And yes, we're going through the pain of watching the price of Bitcoin dip, but we do have our levels below which we don't want to see Bitcoin dip. And once we can weather this, then we're looking at the price action moving and breaking past all these levels, first to hit 67,000, followed by 72,000 and beyond. Looking on our monthly chart, it's good to see that the 20-day EMA, so this is a beautiful strong support. And if we draw a trend line, what Bitcoin has to do is to not break below this nice upward trend. So we do have the retracements, but we still have price action respecting this trend line. That's what we want to see with both higher highs and higher lows. So by the end of this month, December of 2021, it's pretty important that we do not see an extension of this big red candlestick. It has dipped below, but it's been able to close above this trend line. 2 more weeks for the candle to close. Anything can happen. So let's just keep watching this space. And hopefully 2022 will bring in greater prospects that the crypto market can stay positive and register record levels of all-time highs across the board.